श्रीमन महाप्रभु की श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह देव भगवान की श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Arun, Arun, live streaming Kannada ain't gonna. Live streaming Kannada class also. Just check.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। टुगेदर नारायणाय मुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधव श्रीचैतन्यमेश्वरं कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। Reading from Shri Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, on the matter of the creative impetus. Text 26. Antar Bahish Chakila Lokapalake Adrishtarupo Vicharasi Urusvanaha Sa Ishwaras Tvam Ya Idam Vashenayan Namnayata Dharumayi Narah Striyam Antarbahishchakila Lokapalake Antarbahishchakila Lokapalake Adrishtarupo Vicharasyurusvanaha Adrishtarupo Vicharasyurusvanaha Sa Ishwarastvam Ya Idam Vashenayan Sa Ishwarastvam Ya Idam Vashenayan Namna Yatha Dharumayim Narastriyam Namna Yatha Dharumayim Narastriyam Prabhuji. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome you all to this Sunday Feast program. We're all very fortunate Prabhupada has given us this Sunday Feast program. It's an opportunity for all the devotees, especially who are staying out feast program. So all the devotees, especially those who are in and around within 8-10 kilometers radius of the temple, should definitely make use of this opportunity to attend the program. Coming to the shloka, this is about creation, where Shukadeva Goswami. Before that, I would like to take permission, blessings, and prayers of all the Vaishnavas. Although I'm not at all qualified, with each session, I also try to learn something very new. And most importantly, I take this service as a self purificatory process, so that in the worst case, at least I be purified from whatever the time taken to prepare for the class, and all these things are definitely adds to our purifications. So it's like a preacher. He's said to be like a postman. So somebody sends a money order, so the postman picks it from the source address and puts into the destination. So the money what he's taking, it does not belong to the postman. His duty is just to pick and put it there. So a mood of a preacher should be like that. Whatever knowledge, whatever we are speaking, it does not mean that we are speaking with knowledge. The knowledge is already given in the Shastras. It is spoken by Guru, Sadhu, and all the senior Vaishnavas. So we just listen there, we just pick it, and we are just mediating. So that's the I'm trying to take this class in keeping that in mind. So I would need all your blessings to go forward. In case, please feel free to correct me, and in case if there is knowingly or unknowingly any mistakes committed, I beg forgiveness from everyone. So this chapter, Shukadeva Goswami is glorifying the Lord. If you see the previous verses, he glorifies Matsya Avatara, he glorifies Rama Avatara, he glorifies Narsimha Avatara. Like each verse, he picks up a incarnation of the Lord and he glorifies the Lord. Shukadeva Goswami, about how he is creating this world and how he is the primary creator. And Prabhupada, Shukadeva Goswami here in the translation, he uses the example of puppeteer, how the Lord is just like a puppeteer, who controls the dolls. So he is comparing us, the living entities, to the dolls. We have a general tendency to always think that we are the controllers or we are the doers, but it's not like that. No, it's always the Lord who does it. And but we all in the material, when I say we, the non-devotees in general, people in general, uh, they would like to take credits, or they would like to think that we are the controllers. It's, oh, I'm doing it is because of my strength. Generally, what happens is whenever things go as planned, we would like to take the credit, and we would say, okay, it's because of me. And whenever things are not going as we have planned, then we want to blame it on either someone else or Krishna. Nice prasadam feast is being cooked. Oh, very tasty feast. Who cooked prasadam? Oh, I only cooked prasadam. Very nice. No? Today's prasadam was not good. Yeah, that Mataji today, she was cooking it. Generally, I cook it. Somehow she's. So that way we want, or what we do, otherwise we'll blame the Lord. Why Lord is doing like this? There was one person who built a nice garden. He nurtured the plants and built a very nice garden with his own hands. And one day, what happened? A small calf, a cow, came and ate away all the garden and completely spoiled it. And this guy hit the calf, and he hit it so hardly that the calf died. That there itself it died. So he was now held responsible. People started telling, no, you have done a gohatya. So it is very sinful. So he said, no, no, it was not me who did the mistake, it was my hand. And as per the Vedic scriptures, uh, Indra is the adipati of my hand. So it is Indra who is responsible. So they summoned Indra. Indra came. Indra said, "No, what happened?" So he said, "You have killed a calf. Uh, you are the adipati for a hand." So then Indra said, Indra is a demigod. We cannot cheat him so easily. So Indra said, "Okay, fine." So he went to that person. He told, "Oh, this garden looks very nice. Who created it?" He said, "I only created it with my own hands. I nurtured. See all these beautiful plants." Indra said, "Okay, so you created the garden. It is with your hands. Then that credit you are not giving to me. When you killed a cow, you are giving the credit to me." So he got caught in the situation. So this is how people in general know. We always think we are the doers, but we think only in nice situations whenever things are going as planned. But whenever things are not going as planned, we don't give the credit. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvashaha Ahankara Vimudatma Kartaham Iti Manyate. He says it's by the influence of three modes of material nature. Only because of that influence, a person thinks that he is the doer. But the actual doer is the nature. Now, all the activities are carried out by the nature. So the point here is we have to always be like an instrument. For example, no, there is a snake. Somebody sees a snake and he go and hits the snake with a stick. Now the blame is for the stick or the person. Person, yes. We can't say the person cannot say no. The stick hit the snake. Or if somebody is playing mridangam or musical instruments very nicely, we all give credit. So you played very well. We don't say, oh, the Brindagam played very well. The sound of Mridangam was so nice. No, right? So the instrument does not get that credits. Generally, the person who controls the instrument or the controls object is the one who get credits. So we are all like instruments. So we cannot take credits for any of the activities. It's Krishna who controls us. We are all like dolls, like Shukadeva Goswami mentions here, dolls under the hands of a puppeteer, and just like instruments under the person who plays it. So we're all like instruments. So that's the mindset we have to carry. Prabhupada in the pulpit he gives an example of how woman is controlled by husband. No, even in Prabhupada books, Prabhupada gives this example where he compares husband to intelligence, wife to mind, and the children to senses. Whenever the husband, who is the head of the family, is in the right path, always works very righteously, the wife also will be in the right path. And once both husband and wife are very true to their nature, the children will grow very nicely. So when he compares this example to mind, intelligence, and senses, husband is compared to intelligence. So whenever intelligence is under our control, whenever we have a right intelligence, then mind will automatically come under the control of the intelligence. And when the mind is under the control of the intelligence, senses will be very much in control. But if the head of the family, husband, is not very righteous, no, he just whimsically acts in a different way, doesn't come home at the right time, doesn't take care of the family very well, then even the entire family, it disturbs the entire family. And ultimately, what happened? The end affected person are the children's, because nobody is taking care of them nicely, and the children they also get no lost. So that's the problem. When mind controls the intelligence, then we cannot control the senses. It becomes very difficult. So uh, the Shastra says it's a three different stages. At the earlier stage of her life, before she get married, she's under the protection of her affectionate father. Then later, she's under the protection of her husband, and later, she comes under the protection of her son, grown-up son or son-in-law. So this is how the process is, and affect and an husband is supposed to show that kind of an affection and protection to the wife, and this wife is meant to serve the husband. This is what Prabhupada says. He says the exact word is true service. Um, Bhagavatam 7th canto says our attraction Hiranyakashipu says this. He says this to Prahlad. He compares our attraction to the Lord to the curved tail of the dog, Shunashepaha. So Hiranyakashipu says, Prahlad Maharaj, he says Prahlad that while chastising, your attraction to the Lord is like a curved tail of the dog. So you have seen a curved tail of the dog. So whatever you do, even for many years, you keep it straight. Again, you open it, it will be again curved. So Prahlad Maharaj's attraction to the Lord was like that. Hiranyakashipu was trying different ways to somehow try to distract him from the service of the Lord. But Prahlada Maharaj's attraction was like a curved tail of the dog. That's what Hiranyakashipu says. So in Kali Yuga, no, most of the relationships are not God centric. In Kali Yuga, can you all hear me? In Kali Yuga, most of our relationships are not God centric. If you see in the previous yugas, the relationships were much better. Those days, people had more than one wife. So even though they were happily living, because their the whole family was centered around the devotional service. So that is why they were able to maintain so many relationships. I mean, that was legal during those days, but in Kali Yuga, no, it is, we all know the Kali Yuga, the Yuga of Kali is not so pure, not so pure. So we are allowed to have only one wife or one husband. And even with that, the relationships are mostly bad because it's mostly self-centric. No, it is not God-centric. No, one day, one husband and wife wanted to go to her parents' house. So she took leave. She took permission from the husband, and she told, "Okay, I want to go. I want a break. So 1 month I am leaving." Okay, husband said, "Okay, please go." So wife, before going, she told, "Okay, you have to be very careful. No going out. No meeting your friends. All these the normal stuff." So wife, after going to the in-laws place, daily she starts calling her husband. Okay, so where are you? Husband says, "I'm at home only." "No, I won't believe you. You go to the kitchen first." He goes to the kitchen. On the mixer, he will on the mixer. When the wife hears the mixer sound, she will think, "Okay, my husband is at home." So daily this used to happen. The wife would call daily, "You go to the kitchen on the mixer." So after 1 month, the wife is coming back home, and the husband is not there at home. And she says, she asks the child, "Where is your father?" My father has gone out for work. And then the child says, "Mama, I don't know. Dad, while he's going out daily, he takes the mixer with him. So I don't know what is the reason. I thought I'll come, you will come, and I'll tell you." So this is, I mean, it's just a funny story, to see how the relationships are not mostly based on trust and love. No, it is because it's not God centric. It is mostly self centric. Anyways, the point here, what I want to bring is we have to always adhere to the instructions of the Lord. As long as we follow the instructions of the Lord as per the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, we are always on his side. No, especially in the case of Arjuna. No, Arjuna was really confused, but the Lord told, "You fight," and Arjuna believed the Lord and he fought for the Lord. And since he fought for the Lord, since he did it for the Lord, there was no sin. So this is how we have to be. If you take an example of an army person when he is in the military, he is working for the government. There he has all the authority. He has a license to shoot the enemy, to kill the enemy. When he is going for a war, he kills someone and he is being given credit for that. But the same army person during the vacation time he comes, and if he goes and says that I am coming from army, let me shoot you. If he shoots, what will happen? He'll be in the jail. So what's the difference? When he is in the army, he is working for the government, so he is getting all sorts of credits, even though he is killing. But at the same person, when he comes in the vacation, when he kills, he is not authorized to do it. Similarly, when we work for Krishna, so as per the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, we are always, there is no, sometimes it is nice, it is good to say a small lie for the sake of the Lord. For example, now somebody is for practicing Krishna consciousness, but his family members are not practicing. You are not allowed to go for the Sunday feast. You can tell a small lie that no, you're going somewhere else, and then you can come to that temple. So that is no. This is all. Since you're doing it for Krishna, that is always it does not carry any sin or karma. So that is where we have to work for the Lord, keeping Him in the center and not. We shouldn't be driven by self-centered mood. So Prabhupada in the purport he says, just reading out it, the Lord is situated within everyone's heart and outside as well. Within heart, He is a super soul, the incarnation who acts as the advisor and witness. Yet although God is residing within their hearts, foolish people say, I cannot see God. Please show Him to me. Yeah, so this is what happens, no? When we have too much of ignorance and anarthas filled, we always tend to follow the path of atheists and we don't believe. And Prabhupada gives another example where he refers to another verse in Srimad Bhagavatam where he quotes the prayers from Kunti Devi. So Prabhupada says, referring to Kunti Devi, where Kunti Maharani refers, Krishna is an actor who is dressed as a player. Nato Natyadaro Yatha. So Kunti Maharani is giving an example where Krishna is like an actor who is dressed as a player. So when you see these olden days dramas and other things, right? So the actor would be dressed in such a way that you won't be able to recognize the original person behind it. So this is how the foolish people Prabhupada mentions in the material world, they don't know Krishna because Krishna is dressed up like an actor and he's controlling in such a way, but we are so ignorant that we don't identify that the Supreme Lord is behind all these things. So the reason why we deny the existence of God, it is because of the three modes of nature, especially the mode of ignorance. So it is a combination of ignorance and the anarthas filled in the heart. So because of the ignorance and anarthas, we always tend to, even though sometimes we believe in the existence of God, that pure bhakti is not there. We can see even this in especially the neophyte devotee stage. Yes, they have a little bit of faith. They accept the existence of the Lord, but still that complete faith or the deep faith is not flowing because even still the anartha and the ignorant is there. Now, Harinama Chintamani, written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Haridas Thakur mentions the types of ignorance and the type of anarthas. So he says the first type of ignorance, first ignorance is ignorance of the holy name. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shikshashtakam says, Namnamakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis, Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha, Etadrishi Tavakripa, Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrisham Hya Janinanuragaha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Oh Lord, you have given us this holy name. You have put all your glories into your holy name. You have invested all your energies into the holy name. And you have been so merciful to the conditioned soul that you have made this entire process so easy. But still, I am so fallen that I am not getting attraction to the holy name. So this happens even with the practicing devotees. Even if you take the 10th aparadha, the offenses to the holy name, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name, even after understanding so many instructions of the matter. We know this is the reality. We know things. We know the glories of the holy name, but still we are not able to get that taste for the holy name. That is mostly because of our ignorance nature, because of the anarthas, and also because of the prabhava of the Kali Yuga. No? We often forget to, in Kali Yuga, one nature is, which everyone faces is, he forgets to show gratitude. We think we forget things very easily. No, gratitude does not come very easily. Some people are blessed by that by birth, or some devotees, once we become devotees, start practicing it. But in general, the nature of gratitude is very, very less. No, it does not come very easily for us in Kali Yuga. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So this is the first point. There are three types of ignorance as per Harinama Chintamani. First one is the ignorance of the holy name. Second one is the ignorance of the Supreme Lord. So we all think no, there is no Lord. No, we think There are a lot of atheists in Kali Yuga, we can see, right? The Lord has given us the free will, and using this free will, what we do is we completely engage in sense enjoyment, sense gratification, and what happens is we become more and more ignorant, and we become more and more binded in the material nature. So that way, what happens? Krishna is like, Krishna gives an example of two birds. One bird is doing the activity, and the other bird, one is soul and one is super soul. The super soul is the witnesser, and as per the activity of the soul, he pushes us more and more into ignorance, so that we go deep into dark well, and it takes us millions of lifetimes to come back to understand the process of Krishna consciousness. So basically, ignorance of the Supreme Lord. People who are ignorant of the Supreme Lord, they tend to take this shortcuts, like worship of the demigods. So this is ignorance of the Supreme Lord. Third one is the ignorance of the self. So ignorance of the self is a natural tendency which keeps us away from the Lord, where we think we are the body, but actually we are not the body, and we are the soul. So the more we think we are the body, again, it is the same issue where we are more bodily attached, and we get a lot into sense gratification. No, we are suffering in this material world from time immemorial. Can anyone say from how many lifetimes we are suffering? We have taken birth in this material world. Yes, 84 lakh species. But are you sure you have correctly come one by one 84 lakh species? Is it all like textbook written? Okay, one after other, one after other. You would have taken a human form of life before this. Again, you would have gone back to the animal kingdom. Again, from there, you have to come one by one. So, does anyone know the correct number? So, in one of the Buddhist books, Buddhist philosophy, it says if you take one jiva, not complete, everyone, all the jivas, one jiva, and if you go on keep on counting his lifetimes, previous lifetimes, what is it equal to? So you have to collect all the bones of your previous lifetimes, and if you all put it together, it is so much that it will cover the entire sun. One jiva, this is one jiva. So much of lifetimes we have taken. We are struggling from so many lives. This is again because of ignorance. We are ignorant, and we don't want to take the process of Krishna consciousness. There is no Sukriti, no Ajnata Sukriti. This Ajnata Sukriti is very, very important. And that is the first point which helps us to come into Krishna consciousness. It comes even before faith. The 9 steps of Navaveda Bhakti is first is Shraddha, faith. But even to get that Shraddha, you should have some Ajnata Sukriti. So these souls who has not done any Ajnata Sukriti, so they keep on coming back, human, animal, insect, trees, everything. So just imagine it is not the entire body, it's just bones. If you collect all the bones and put it together, it can cover the entire sun planet. The Buddhist philosophy says this, so we can't even imagine. So that's the amount of lifetimes we have been struggling. And because we have struggled so many lifetimes, our Krishna conscious process also does not become so easy. I mean, the Krishna conscious process is very easy, but the way we follow, that should be to that level. We can't expect, no, we have been struggling from so many lifetimes, and we can't expect that, okay, just I chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra and I'll go back to Godhead. And it is not something under our remote control. No, it is not that it doesn't happen like how we say. No? There is a law of nature, there are things, but there is definitely which is under our control, and that is where Prabhupada comes into picture. That is where Prabhupada was very merciful. He says, don't worry about all these bones, don't worry about the sun planet, don't worry about your previous lives. Just chant 16 rounds, follow the four regulative principles. Attend Mangalarti, take association of devotees, dance in the kirtan, take prasadam. So once you do this, I'll make sure that you return home back to Godhead. So this is where an acharya he plays an important role. No other, if there is no acharya, if there is no mediator, if there is no spiritual master, uh, there is no way we can't even spell the word of the of no We won't even be in a position to understand what is Goloka Vrindavana or what is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is where Prabhupada and the previous acharyas, they play a very significant role, so that all these living entities struggling here, we have an opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. So these are the three types of ignorance. First one is ignorance of the holy name. Second one is ignorance of the Supreme Lord. And third one is ignorance of the self. This is about ignorance. Next, anarthas. In Harinama Chintamani, similarly, there are four types of anarthas which is given. The first one is Asat Trishna. Asat Trishna. Asat Trishna means craving for which is impermanent, hankering for something which is not permanent. So, for example, we are going for a trip, for one day picnic, and we are booking some hotel. Say, for example, we are going to Ooty or Kodaikanal. We are booking a lodge, a hotel. Will someone go and see, oh, this hotel, the paint is not very good. Let me try to change the paint. Maybe here one clock I can fix it. Or let me change the bathroom tiles, it's not very clean. Will somebody think like this? Why? Because we all know we just come here, we are staying just for one day, 1 or 2 days. We will go back. It is not our business. So this is what is craving for the impermanent. And but this is what we are doing in the material world as well. We all know this material world is temporary, but still we try to we try to correct things here. We try to become better. Somebody goes to jail, and uh, jail what you and somebody says, okay, I will give you a cell phone. I'll fix a home theater in the jail room. I'll give you AC. I'll give you all sort of facilities. Still, will someone be ready to stay in the jail? I mean, nowadays it is said that food is very good, so they better than coming out, they want to stay inside. But in general, even though if we give all these facilities, nobody would want to stay in the jail. They would want to know as soon as possible come out, because once they come out, they will know that they will automatically get all these TV, home theater, phone, everything. Nobody would fall. So this material world is like the motel room, hotel, or a jail, where we are trying to think, okay, this will be better, this will be better, this will be better. So hankering is there, hankering. We want to hanker for something, and once what we get, what we have hankered, then we lament for it. How many of you have gone through this situation? You wanted to buy something very, very favorite, and you buy it. After sometimes you think that, oh, I shouldn't have bought this. This is not good. I could have tried something better. Big feast is cooked on Sunday feast. You'll be hankering. Let me go and eat. I would be the first. We go and eat all the items, and full stomach is full. You're not able to walk. You're not able to sit. I shouldn't have eaten. I should have just left with one jamun. But why I ate 5 jamuns? We think like that, right? So this is what we are hankering for something, and then we are lamenting. We buy a new car. We buy a new car and then hankering for it, buying it, and when there is a small scratch in the car, lamentation. Even there is no scratch, still there is fear. Oh, what will happen if somebody, if I take in the road, somebody, if they scratch, the scratches wouldn't have come, but still we are fearing about the future. Oh, what if the scratches come? What will I do? What will I? The fear is there. So this is what the entire. No, can you all give some examples from the Shastras, Srimad Bhagavatam, about great personalities or any personalities who were anchoring and then later lamenting? Indra, yes. Indra in which case? Many cases. Okay. Yeah, very good example. Who said Chitraketu? Yes, very good. Chitraketu, yeah, it's a good example. Harsha Shoka. So he wanted a son. He wanted a son, and Angira Muni tried to preach him, but he was no very reluctant, and he gave him a son who would give him both happiness and distress. And then later he lamented. Then again, Narada Muni and Angira Muni had to come back and preach him. So we have great example. That is what material world is. No, hankering comes, then we hanker for it, and later we regret and we lament for it. Oh, I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it. So this is what is called as Asat Trishna. So what are some of the qualities of Asat Trishna? Asat Trishna means hankering for which is not permanent. So some of the qualities are desiring for material objects, desiring for heavenly comforts, desiring for mystic powers, and desire for liberation. So again, it connects back to the point, this is not our real goal. Manushyanam sahasreshu kashyat ekadesittaye, yatadamapi siddhanam kashyat mam veti tattvataha. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, this Manushyanam sahasreshu, in thousands of lifetimes, one gets an opportunity to take human form of life. There's a similar shloka in Bhagavatam. It says, labdva sudurlabhamivam bahu संभवन्ते लब्ध सुदुर्लभमिदं बहु संभवन्ते मनुष्यान् अर्थदम अनित्यम अपीह धीरः तूर्णम यतः पतेत अनुमृत्यु यावन. So can somebody see the shloka? It starts from labdva sudurlabham. It's a beautiful shloka where it's a similar meaning in Bhagavatam, where Krishna says, the Lord says how the human form of life is very, very rare, and how we waste it. Somebody can find that shloka, you can read the translation. Starts from labdva sudurlabham idam bahu sambhavante. Sorry? 11:9. Yeah, can you read out the shloka or translation? Loudly. Somebody louder can read out. Mike, yeah. You can read properly. Mataji is here. Mike is there.
After many births, achieve the rare human form of life. It's also temporary, affords one the opportunity to attain the highest.
Okay, you can read and I can repeat, Prabhu. You can read and I can repeat translation. Yeah. So it says, after many births and deaths, one achieves the rare human form of life, which, although temporary, affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. Beautiful last point. So he says, so the difference between the material activities and Krishna consciousness is, sense gratification is available in all forms of life, but Krishna consciousness is available only in the human form of life. So that is where we have to understand the importance of human form of life. Yeah. So the whole point is, we don't have to anchor. See, there is a ledger. In each one of our lives, there is a ledger attached, a big diary. And whatever you want, whatever you are supposed to get is written, and what you do. And apart from whatever is written, you are not going nothing lesser also. So nothing more, nothing lesser. You are not going to get anything more, anything lesser. So we don't have thing, we don't know whether we would get or not. No, Prabhupada says, I think Bhakti Damodar Maharaj also was quoting example of Prabhupada always gives an example of donkey. He says donkey is a burden of beast, Prabhupada says. So what a donkey does, no, it really doesn't know, it does not uses its senses. Even if the donkey knows that it will get food, but still it will go work. It will be under the control of a dhobi, and dhobi will put loads and loads of luggages, and after doing all sort of work, little bit of grass he will get in the night. So his friend donkeys would be doing the same things. He would be grazing in the field and eating the grass without doing any work. No, there was a story that a donkey used to work very hard, and one of the friend donkeys came and told, "Hey, why are you working very hard? See, I'm not working, but I'm getting grass." This donkey says, "No, there is a reason why I'm working hard. No, one day what happened? I overheard that my master was chastising his daughter. He was scolding his daughter. So he said that if you are not doing the work, or if you are going to repeat the mistakes again, I will marry you to that donkey. So I am waiting for that moment where I can marry daughter of my master. So this is the condition of general tendency and mindset of human beings. We just believe that something will happen that which is definitely not going to happen. So that is why we have a ledger. Whatever is written in the ledger, you will get it. Whatever is not there, you will not get it. You can keep on trying, keep on trying, keep on trying. So that is why Krishna says, instead of trying there, you put your efforts here. So that will be added, because whatever materially you try in this lifetime, it is not going to help you in the next life. So Krishna says, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Dukkhalaya. Dukkha means, Alaya means home. Dukkha means sorrow. It's a place of distress. But what do I think, or what do people in general think? We don't think this as Dukkhalaya. We think this as Bhojanalaya. We think this as one very Wanderalaya. No, there is Wanderla where you can go and enjoy. So this is where we take this as a merry world, Bhojanalaya, Nidralaya. So we don't take this as Dukkhalaya. So that is the problem. So this is Asat Trishna, hankering for which is impermanent. Second one, Hridaya Daurbalya. Hridaya Daurbalya is because of weakness of the heart. It means Hridaya means heart and Daurbalya means weakness. Hridaya Daurbalya means weakness of the heart. Weakness of the heart can be due to many reasons, like your Harinam Chintamani says, it can be due to envy, due to desire for fame, fault finding, and attachment to objects that are unrelated to Krishna. Envy, fault finding, fame, and attachment to material objects. So this envy, actually these 4 points are related. Once you get envy, then you start fault finding. Fault finding who is better than you. And then when you are not able to do that, you will try to come above him. Fame, we wanted fame. And ultimately we won't do anything related to Krishna, we'll be doing materially. These 4 are related. Envy is basically the key reason for envy is we are not deeply attracted to Krishna. We don't have love for Krishna. One example which we can try to understand envy in a better way. A father and a son. A father takes a small child to a function, so some party. So there, what happens when you're taking? Maybe he's a newborn baby, or all your friends are seeing that baby for. If you know, right? When we take small babies, they are very attractive. Everyone come towards. So when the father is taking the baby, all his friends they come and they take the baby, they kiss the baby, they do lullaby, and they give some chocolates. So will the father like it or not? Father will like it. Why? Why he will like it? Yeah, this is very, very important point. Because he loves the child. Because he loves the child, there the center of attraction is the child. And because he loves the child, if when others also love the child, he is happy with it. Because I also love him, he is my child. And when others are also coming and showing that love, respect, he loves it. This is the same thing we have to apply in Krishna consciousness in terms of envy. When we love Krishna, when somebody does it more better than us, he also has love on Krishna. So what are we supposed to do? When somebody does more devotional service, or when somebody has more attraction to the Lord, we should like them. Because we have love for the Krishna, and there we keep Krishna as the center. But what happens, since we move self-centric, we don't keep Krishna in the center. No, we don't have the deep love. Of course, a little bit of faith is there, that Shraddha is not completely there, little bit of love is there. So what is happening? Everything is there, little, but the anarthas is completely covered it like a mist. So it's not coming out. So your love is not completely flowing out. So that is why you start feeling envy. And like I said, when we start feeling envy, when we correct this enviness, then automatically we won't feel pride, we won't have faith, we won't do any fault finding. So these things, we are saved from these things. So this is called as Hridaya Daurbalyam. And what is the consequences of either Hridaya Daurbalyam? It is very bad that we will ultimately fall down from our position. Okay, so third one is Tattva Vibrama. Vibrama means misunderstanding. Tattva Vibrama. Misunderstanding can be in many ways. Harinama Chintamani says there can be misunderstanding of one's own identity. This is which already we discussed, like ignorance of the self. We don't identify ourselves with Krishna, but we identify ourselves with the body. Then there is misunderstanding of the Supreme Lord, misunderstanding about the process of devotional service, and misunderstanding about the subjects that are unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. So this is Tattva Vibrama. Basically means misunderstanding of our own self and about Krishna. Fourth one is very important, aparadas, the last one. Last type of anartha is aparada. Aparada is of four types. One is nama aparada, offenses to the holy name. So everyone knows there are 10 aparadas to the holy name. I'm not going into it. Then second one is aparadas to the deities, which is called seva aparada. If you see in Nectar of Devotion, I think chapter 7 or 8, not sure. There is 32 aparadas to the deities, process of devotional service, process of deity worship. So these 32 aparadas are mainly constitutes the aparada to the deities, which is called as seva aparada. Third one is very important, aparada to the devotees, which is Vaishnava aparada, and fourth one is aparada to the other living entities. So this is aparada, and in that we'll just slightly touch into Vaishnava aparada. So it's a long, big topic. We cannot go deep into it. So I'll just discuss the consequences part of it. So we have to be very careful from Vaishnava aparada. It is said that if he does 100 offenses, he cannot chant attentively. If somebody does 1,000 offenses, he will break the regulative principles. If somebody does 10,000 offenses, hand will be shaking like this. We cannot even touch the japamala. 100 offenses, he cannot chant attentively. 1,000 offenses, he will break the regulative principles. 10,000 offenses, he won't even feel like taking the chanting back. Once he takes chanting back, he'll do we have to do a self estimation that which stage we are standing. Are we in a safe zone below 100, or are we crossed 10,000? So we have to examine that, self-examine that, and try to correct it. No, it is very, very, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not give mercy even to his own mother, Sachimata, because she had offended Advaitacharya. It is called as Hatimata, mad elephant offense. So among the offenses, this is the most dangerous offense. And one important point is, especially in the offenses, we have to be very, very careful, very important point, that we don't offend the preachers. Offending normal devotees and offending the preachers is two different things. The consequences are more dangerous if you offend a preaching devotee. And even if you offend a neophyte devotee, very new to Krishna consciousness, tomorrow he might take sannyas, or he might become an initiated devotee. Then your offense is taken to that level. It is not that whatever you have done when he is in a neophyte stage, it is not calculated like this. So offenses, we have to be very careful. So yeah, this is aparadas. So we discussed three types of ignorance. One is ignorance of the holy name, ignorance of the self, ignorance of the Supreme Lord, and four types of anarthas. Asat Trishna, which is anchoring for the impermanent. Second one is Hridaya Daurbalyam, weakness of the heart. Third one is Tattva Vibrama, misunderstanding. And fourth one is anarthas. Anarthas is nothing but unwanted things in the heart. So these are the four types of anarthas and four types of ignorances, three types of ignorances which is given in Harinama Chintamani. Now let's discuss the solution. Don't worry, the solution is very simple. We don't have different kinds of solution. The only solution for this is to surrender to the spiritual master and follow his instructions. So as soon as we surrender to the spiritual master and follow his instructions, he will instruct us the Sambandha Jnana, the relationship between the Supreme and the Self. There is three processes, right? Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. When does that Sambandha comes? It does not, like I said, there is that Ajnata Sukriti. From the Ajnata Sukriti, we are blessed to come in touch with a great devotee, pure devotee, a spiritual master. And when we take shelter and surrender to the spiritual master, he gives us knowledge, and that is called Sambandha Jnana. And then later we have to practice it. That is Abhideya. So as we practice, slowly we'll come out of the stage of Anartha. So Anartha is actually the fourth stage of devotion. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha is association, Bhajana Kriya is practice, Fourth stage is getting rid of anarthas. So once you come out of the anartha by surrendering into a spiritual master, that is when we come to the stage of nama bhasha. Until then, until the four stages, all our chanting will be in the stage of nama aparadha. There are three stages of chanting: nama aparadha, nama bhasha, and shuddha nama. So mostly the neophyte stage, or anyone who is chanting the holy name but has a lot of anarthas. Anarthas is what we explained now. If anyone has most of these anarthas, then we'll all be chanting in the nama aparadha stage. Once we come out of this through Sambandha Jnana by the help of the spiritual master, that is when we come to the Nama Bhasha stage. Haridas Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks in the same Harinam Chintamani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Haridas Thakur, now I want to hear you explain about what is Nama Bhasha. And there is a beautiful entire chapter about Nama Bhasha. If any devotees have the book, it is very nicely explained. So, Haridas Thakur says, Nama Bhasa is basically what it is. You are not chanting with aparadha, but at the same time you are not in Shuddha Nama. It is an intermediate stage. It is a stage which is compared to cloud or mist covering. So whenever there is a cloud or early morning when you drive, there is a fog during the winter season. You are able to see it. It's not pitch dark, but at the same time it's not clear, right? So it is a stage where there is a mist. It's a mist cover or cloud color. So similarly, your chanting is not very pure, but at the same stage, it does not give you are not chanting with aparadhas. It is Shastras gives an example of where the early morning around 6:30 you cannot see the sun. The sun is still not rising, but still you can see the light, right? So that light is not completely bright. You would be able to see complete bright only when the sun come around 7-8 o'clock when you can see the sun. But till then it is sun is not there, but still brightness is there. And that is the time where it is said, Acharya says, all the poisonous reptiles move away. So if you see all these poisonous reptiles, once during the night they all come out in search of food. These snakes and other things in search of many food. And as it comes 5:30, 6 o'clock, all these hides away to their respective homes. So that is a clearance stage, to use the exact word. It's a clearance stage. So it's a stage where your chanting is getting cleared, your anarthas are getting cleared, and your chanting is getting cleared. And there are even in Nama Bhasha, there are 5 stages actually. The first stage of Nama Aparadha is unintentional chanting. So Harinam Singh Chintamani says, unintentional chanting means he gives an example of Ajamila. Ajamila did not want to call out the name of the Supreme Lord. He just unintentionally called out his son Narayana. And there was a story of a Muslim where there was a pig which attacked the Muslim. And we all know, right? For the Muslims, the pig is not so good. They don't touch the pig or something. So when this pig came and attacked him, he told Haram, Haram, Haram. And we told Haram, Haram, the name Ram came out. And unintentionally he chanted the name of the Ram and he got delivered. He got a next good body in his next life. So he is not chanting with aparadha. He is chanting unintentionally, but he is chanting the holy names of the Lord. He doesn't know that he is chanting the holy names of the Lord, but he is still chanting. So this is the first stage of Nama Bhasha, which is unintentional chanting. Second is ridicule chanting. Ridicule chanting means chanting in a funny way. If you see all these drunkards and all these people, they tell Hare Ram, they'll be dancing. Or when we devotees, they see us devotees in the road. When they see all these tilaka, we go, hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Somewhat in a funny way they do it. So this is ridicule chanting, making in a funny way, and they also have benefits. So this is, and third one is harsh way, chanting in a harsh way. Examples like Kamsa and Shishupala, they were always against the Lord in a blaspheming mood. But they also got delivered. So this is the third way. And fourth stage is mostly the category of devotees. It is carelessness chanting. This is the stages of devotees where they have crossed the Nama Prada stage, but still they are careless in their chanting. They are not they don't have that complete faith. And when you come out of these 4 stages, that is when you enter Shraddha Namabhasa. Now this is the purest stage of Namabhasa. This is the stage where all the devotees has to try to come before Shuddha Nama. Shraddha Namabhasa means chanting in Namabhasa with full faith. When you are chanting with full faith, then this is the stage where no, we don't do any aparadhas. It is not until we chant very carefully. Yet we are not completely there. We are not on the level of Shuddha Nama, but we chant. And as we practice, when we cross the Shraddha Shuddha Namabhasa successfully, that is when we enter Bhava. And that is when, after Shraddha Namabhasha, we will come to Shuddha Nama and from there to Bhava and Prema. So this is about Namabhasha. And Shraddha Namabhasha is a stage, especially devotees chant with Trinadapi Sunichena, Taroriva Sahishnuna, Manena Manadena, Kirtanya Sadahari. Acharya says this mantra, this Sikshashtakam third verse, is what do you say, pinnacle of Krishna consciousness. If anyone has to remember at least one point from Krishna consciousness, it has to be this shloka. And Acharya says we have to always wear this shloka as a necklace in our. If you remember, small children, I don't know, nowadays children are very progressive, but 90s kids, no? When you send small children to school, all the parents, mothers might know, you all would have pinned one handkerchief here. Why do you do it? So that whenever things come out from nose, the child does not put it on the uniform. Suddenly he remembers the handkerchief and he wipes it. Because the child, even though there is a pocket, you still put it here because the child will not remember. He sees the kerchief and he uses it to wipe. So that is why it says that shloka we have to always put it in the neck. It means that we have to always keep carrying that shloka in our mind so we constantly remember it. Chanting with humble and tolerance. Humility and tolerance. If we have to sum up in one word, humility means I need help. Can you please help me? I mean, this is the mood of humility. I need help. Can you help me? And tolerance, in one word, is procrastination. What is procrastination? Delaying, yes, delaying. So you have to be tolerant. Tolerant. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, what is that shloka for tolerance? Yamhina vyatantite purusham purushar. What's the third line? Samas sukha dukkha sukha dhiram so mritatavya kalpate. So this is the shloka for tolerance. He says, a sober person is always tolerant in both happiness and distress. 2.15. So we have to be very tolerant. So when we say tolerant, it is about pushing things. We have to keep pushing things. So humility is? Yes, louder. Yes, and ignorance is delaying things. Yeah. So with this mindset, when we chant, this is a stage where we come out of Shraddha Namabhasha. That is when a devotee who chants with this shloka in the necklace, this Trinadapi Sunichena, it is said that he can very soon come to the Shuddha Nama stage. Okay? So just concluding, so in each of these stage, it says, Prabhupada says, we have to practice, we have to sincerely practice and follow Guru's instructions. So this is more important. Only by Guru's instruction and strictly following his principles, then we come to the stage of Shuddhanama. And it is mere practice by the association of devotees. We can step progress, whatever steps we discussed, the types of ignorance, types of anarthas, and the Nama Bhasha stages. This is all step-by-step process. And for us to cross through each and every step, it is not just known we came and we heard the class, okay, and we understood something, we progress. No. We have to, for us to practice it, what is the first step required for us to, I mean, first thing what we have to do is we have to practice it. For practicing, what we have to do? Yeah, we have to plan. Unless and until someone plans their devotional process, we are not going to progress. Planning is very, very important. Unless and until we plan, we are not going to progress. And how do we plan? Okay, we have planned, okay, we have thought so many things and we have just, okay, we have planned. Now, what is the next step? Action. Before planning and action, there is something there.
We have to write down the plan. This is more important. Most of our devotees, the step which we miss is this step. We plan and we directly take this into action. And sometimes what happens, 2-3 days we follow, 1 week we follow, and the 7th day it is no more there. But whereas you put a calendar, you put this into action, either write it down in a paper or put it in the system. You see the children, right? They have a timetable. No, when they put the timetable, this is the times to study and all these things. Then their the result is much more. So when we plan it that way, the immediate plan is we have to plan. We have 24 hours in a day. We have to plan in such a day that whatever I'm going to say is very difficult, not practical. 8 hours for our bhakti, divided into 24 into 3, 8 hours for our bhakti, 8 hours for our bodily needs, 8 hours for our work. Devotional service includes our sadhana, japa, 2 hours of japa. Prabhupada says 1 hour of book, 2 hours of book reading. So that's minimum Prabhupada says. So 2 hours of book reading and listening to lectures, DT worship, kirtan, preaching, all these put together 8 hours. 8 hours for bodily needs, 6 hours of sleep, then eating bhuva, food, and then bodily needs like taking bath and other things. All these put to 8 hours. Remaining 8 hours for work. But what is happening in Bangalore? Work itself is going for 15 hours, including travel. And remaining whatever 8 hours we adjust here and there. We adjust only sleep, we won't adjust. Bodily needs that we'll do correctly. In our devotional service, in that 8 hours, we'll minus all the other things. And we'll make our devotional service as not even 2 hours, 1.5 hours. That also 16 rounds chanting, try to suppress within 1.5 hours so that I can save that half an hour. So once, and even bodily needs, this is very important. A lot of, I'll just take 2 minutes of time. A lot of devotees, they think that, they're in a mindset, they give a lot of time for devotional service, but not a lot for body. See, Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Yuktahara Viharasya, Yukta Chetasa, forgetting shlokas. Okay, that's the shloka, Yuktahara Viharasya. One who can control his sleep and one who can control his food habits. Even if it is prasadam, it is, we have to control our food, it has to be very sattvic, not Srinathji's and other places. Like, we have to control and bodily, only when you keep your body healthy. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gives a very, very important to the body. He says, Shivananda Sena in Madhya Leela, Shivananda Sena, you take care of Vasudeva Datta. Vasudeva Datta is a very, very pure devotee of the Lord. He says this Vasudeva Datta is so carelessness that he does not take care of his body. Second, he spends a lot. See how deeply Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs. He says even financially also devotee has to be very careful. Not that whimsically he spends. He says this Vasudeva Datta has a habit of spending money just like that. He's not saving anything for his family. So which is not wrong. And I am not personally there with him all the time. So Shivananda Sena, you take care of that. You take care of that. So this is given in Madhya Leela. So that is where we have to take care of our bodily needs. We have to sleep for 6 hours. We have to sleep before 10 o'clock. It's a big topic. So the whole point is even bodily needs, out of the 3 divisions, even bodily needs are very, very important. And when we give, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when you give importance to your body, first you give importance to your body, then you are very healthy to practice your sadhana. And once you do your sadhana properly, then you can do service well. So this is how we have to plan our devotional service. And in the end, Prabhupada says, he concludes a very important point saying that, he says, so at the end, only those who hear the vibration of the Vedic mantras can appreciate you. So ultimately, it all comes there. In the Kali Yuga, there is no other way. Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kelam, Kalam Nastieva, Gatir Anyata. There is no other way than chanting the holy name, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Sorry to take, I think I took 15 minutes of extra time. I don't know if we have any time for questions. Yeah. Okay. So no time for questions.
Gandharvika Giridhari Sriman Mahaprabhu ki, Lakshmi Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki. Warm welcome to everybody for this morning Sunday. It was a detailed one. I carry a small book. This book was not enough to write down. I'm sure very naturally and feeling a lot of details, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. I'm sure many would have realized which stage we are in our chanting. I hope we make our own corrections. Thank you.
Me too, Prabhu. Include me also.